Hey, welcome to today's video, where I'll be matching every Genshin Impact character from 1.0 to 4.0 with an Animal Crossing villager. Be on the lookout for part 2, where I'll cover the rest of the Genshin characters. There are 488 villagers to choose from across the entire Animal Crossing series. I mostly stuck to Animal Crossing New Horizons villagers, but I did include a couple villagers from past Animal Crossing games. So let's discuss the criteria of how I'm going to choose just one villager per Genshin character. And don't worry, if you're coming from an Animal Crossing background with no Genshin experience or vice versa, I'll explain all the Genshin characters and the Animal Crossing villagers as well. So here's a quick guide if you don't know much about Animal Crossing. Every Animal Crossing villager has a different personality that determines their dialogue, passions, and style. There are currently 6 Animal Crossing categories that are divided by gender. For boys, there's cranky, lazy, smug, and jock. And for girls, there's peppy, snooty, normal, and sisterly. So my plan is to determine what personality each Genshin character has, and then choose a villager who matches. Let's go through the traits of each personality. Let's start with the boys. Cranky villagers are exactly what they sound like. Cranky, bitter, and grumpy. They are stubborn and like to complain. Someone like Zhao is cranky to me. Lazy villagers are very youthful and boyish. They're unbothered, naive, and love to eat snacks. In the Genshin world, I think Mika would be a lazy villager. Jock villagers love sports and working out, and always brag about their muscles. The best example I have for a jock villager is obviously Arataki Ito. Smug villagers are dramatic and self-centered. Kaya has to be a smug villager. Alright, on to the female personalities. Peppy villagers are youthful, cheerful, and full of energy. They're very girly and like to sing and gossip. Barbara's gonna be a peppy villager today. Snooty villagers are similar to smug villagers. They're arrogant, snobby, high class, and elegant. So someone like Eula would be a snooty character. Normal villagers are very warm, kind, and welcoming. They're introverted and love to stay home, cozy with a cup of tea and a good book. Ayaka is the perfect example of a normal villager. And lastly, sisterly villagers are tomboyish and tough. They love a good adventure. They're very blunt and will speak their mind fearlessly, so someone like Beto would be a sisterly villager. So like I said, I'll try to match every Genshin character with a personality and stick to their gender. But sometimes I'll make an exception for a character who doesn't fit into their gender's personalities. Then after matching the character with a personality, I'll choose a villager that resembles them or their summon. I'll also try to choose a villager that reflects the color of their vision. But I do have a few exceptions where I skip choosing the personality for a Genshin character, and I just choose a villager that reflects them. In some cases, I choose an Animal Crossing villager to actually be the Genshin character, and in others, villagers that just want to hang out and be friends with the Genshin character. Lastly, for Archons, I wanted to do something special, so I chose Animal Crossing NPCs instead of villagers. And before we start, be sure to follow me on Twitch where I'm always live streaming. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check out all of my socials in the description box. Alright, I think that sums everything up, so let's finally get into it. Let me know what personality and villagers you would choose for the Genshin characters in the comments. Let's do this in order of release, starting with Amber. So I think Amber would probably be a peppy villager because she's so joyful and cheery. And since she has Baron Bunny, I think she should get a bunny villager. So I think Bunny, the peppy bunny, would be perfect for Amber. She also matches that pyro color scheme because she's orange. I think Barbara would also be a peppy villager because she's very upbeat and has a lot of charisma. I think we should choose a blue villager because of her hydro and blue elements. I think the villager should be small or medium-sized because Barbara's a medium model. So let's go ahead and give Barbara Blue Bear, blue hydro peppy villager. Beto has sisterly villager written all over her. She's blunt, straightforward, and a bit of a tomboy. Let's look for a villager that matches her color scheme and is kind of pirate-y. I think our best choice is probably Cherry. We're both cool looking, and Cherry even has a spot over her eye, just like Beto. I don't know, I could picture Beto being a dog, couldn't you? I think Bennett would be a lazy villager. He's boyish and has a lot of youthful energy, despite being unlucky when he's not in that land. Well, wouldn't it be funny and kind of ironic to give Bennett Lucky, since luck plays a big part in Bennett's life? But besides the name, I don't think Bennett and Lucky have too much in common. Their aesthetics aren't similar at all. So I think let's go with a different villager that looks more like Bennett or is maybe orange or red to match Pyro. So I think we should go with Pudge, who looks accident prone and clumsy. The color scheme matches Pyro, and he's a small, medium boy, which matches Bennett's male model. It's kind of hard to please Chongyun's personality. Is he smug because he thinks he's good, but he's actually kind of dumb? Or is he lazy because of his youthful, boyish energy? Or could he even be normal? so we could put him with someone like Meringue. So I looked through the villagers of all those personalities, and I think that Sherb actually matches him the most. He definitely gives off cryo vibes, which matches Chongyun. He's blue, which matches Chongyun, and I think he loves ice pops. Diluc is stern, bitter, grumpy, all the traits of a cranky villager. There's honestly a lot of good choices for Diluc, but I think I want to give him a bird because of his falcon. I could give him Buzz because Buzz is kind of orangey, which maybe matches his pyro, but I think Apollo might be better for Diluc. They're both OG, popular, recognizable characters. Alright, Fischl's gonna be our first snooty villager. She's dramatic and confident. As a princess, she has to get Becky the princess. Chicken. Becky is purple, she has a whole princess getup, and her and Fischl would be perfect for each other. Also, Becky's a chicken, which is a type of bird, so that's perfect for Oz. Oz has a wifey now. I thought about giving Jean a sisterly villager because she's Barbara's sister, but I don't think that the sisterly personality in Animal Crossing really relates to Jean at all. I think Jean is more of a normal villager. She's just normal and kind, and she cares a lot for the city of Mondstadt and all the people she loves. Let's find a tall villager for her since she's a tall female model. I'm gonna give her Celia, who flaps her wings to use the power of Animo, just like Jean. And I think Celia's outfit has influences of Germany, which matches Mondstadt. Kaya has to be a smug villager. He is confident and overly dramatic. Of course, I'll be looking for a tall villager since he's a tall male model. I'm going to give him Colton, because Colton looks like a Knight of the Favonius, just like Kaya, and I definitely think that Colton could pass as a cryo villager. He's a white horse with blue elements and blue eyes. Kaching is reliable and hardworking, and I think she would be a normal villager. She's caring and nice without ever being snooty or rude. I was going to give her a purple villager to match her purple aesthetic, but I think maybe we should give her a cat. So let's go ahead and give her the normal cat, Kiki. It matches her name, Kaching, Kiki, you know. Lisa has to be snooty, right? She's flirty and likes to tease the traveler a lot. And she's a very well-known and highly respected mage. I'm actually going to give her a past villager from the OG Animal Crossing game. Let's give her Sui. She's purple, like Lisa's Electro and Lisa's outfit, and she just looks like she's so flirty and would love to mess with you. In the bed. I'm gonna make an exception for Mona and give her a villager that matches her aesthetic more than her personality. I think Julian would be a good villager for her. He definitely looks like he's Hydro and ties into her astrological theme. They could definitely be powerful mages together. Another snooty villager, Ningguang. She got the money and she's a powerful businesswoman. I'm gonna give her Monique because Monique also looks rich and I think they look similar. They both have the same kind of color scheme. I think Monique could definitely pass for Geo. And I think Ningguang definitely gives snooty cat vibes. Since Noelle is very polite and reliable, I think she should be a normal villager. And obviously, she should be Tia because they're both maids. I don't think there's a better match than that. I don't know, man. Chi-Chi's personality is hard to place. She only gives me anger when I lose to her in the 50-50. Well, I guess her personality is kind of quiet and chill and forgetful. So maybe we can give her a lazy villager? I don't think she fits into any of the female personalities. I think Lucky has finally made his match. Chi-Chi, the zombie, Lucky, the zombie, or undead dog, whatever you want to call him. And yeah, I'm gonna double down. Although I don't like Chi-Chi that much, I'm gonna give her a good villager because I'm weird like that. Razor definitely has to be a lazy villager, right? But there's no lazy wolves. Ugh, I think I might have to make an exception for him so he can be a wolf, right? So I'm going to look for the best purple wolf I can find to match his Electro. Alright, let's give him a past Animal Crossing villager. Taru! He's a jock. And you know what? Maybe that does fit Razor, because Razor is a jock when he hunts for his food and stuff. But to be honest, looking at Taro is giving me lazy vibes. I mean, look at that dopey smile. Sucrose is another character I have to make an exception for. I think her personality would be normal, she likes to study and read, and she's kind of quiet, but Petrie works perfectly for her, even though she's a snooty. I think Sucrose and Petrie look alike, and they're both scientists. Alright, our first Archon, Venti. So we're gonna give him an NPC. So let's think about Venti's personality and passions. He's a bard and loves to sing and perform and dance, and he's Animo, so let's take that into consideration. I think the perfect NPC for Venti is Pave! Pave hosts festival and loves to sing, dance, and perform. He and Venti share a carefree spirit. Since he's a bird, he definitely can wield the power of Animo. I think Zhongling could be peppy or normal. She's very cheerful and energetic, which passes for peppy, but she also loves to cook and she's a chef, so I think that aligns more with normal. Well, Zhongling has Guoba, who is like a bear cub in Animal Crossing, so I think we should give Zhongling a bear cub. I looked through the whole list, and I think that Pico would be the best fit for Zhongling. Pico is very Liyue inspired in her red dress, which also matches the pyro element. And now Guoba has a wifey! Maybe Xingqiu is smug because he reads poetry, he thinks he's smart and a deep thinker, like a smug villager would. I'm gonna give him Jacques, which matches Xingqiu's hydro and blue hair, and he definitely looks like he does poetry at little coffee shops in the middle of the night. Klee is definitely peppy. Peppy villagers have violent tendencies, but are still cheerful like Klee. So Apple is my favorite Animal Crossing villager. Klee isn't my favorite Genshin character, but I think Klee and Apple might be a great match. They're both little and red and violent. I think Diona would be a sisterly villager because she's kind of rough and tough and likes to trick people. It's kind of tricky to match her with a sisterly villager, but I think let's just give her the smallest one because she's so little. Let's give her Hazel the squirrel. Child is absolutely a smug villager. He's arrogant, dramatic, and loves to start fights. I'm not really seeing a good orange or red smug villager to match Child's hair / pyro. So maybe we can give him a villager that matches his hydro and underwater whale vibes. So let's go with Tex the penguin. He's blue, so he's hydro, and he's a penguin, so he's semi-aquatic, and could definitely get along with some whales. I think Xinyan gives sisterly vibes because she's kind of tomboyish and loves rock and roll. I did think about giving her Cherry, but first of all, Bido already got Cherry, and second of all, I think Cherry is a little bit too epic for Xinyan. So I think let's go with someone a little less iconic. I'm gonna give her Canberra. I think that Canberra's ears remind me of Xinyan's hairstyle, and she's kind of orangey, which matches her pyro. Zhongli is an old grandpa, so we gotta give him an NPC to match. Who better than Phineas? Phineas appears in City Folk and New Leaf. He gives the players special items that you can't get anywhere else. And Zhongli loves shopping and collecting rare items, so I think him and Phineas have a lot in common. And Phineas looks like he could have a Geovision. I don't think that Albedo really fits into any Animal Crossing personality, so let's just go off of his story and lore. Albedo is not a real human, just like Clay the hamster, who's made out of clay. Ganyu is a timid workaholic. She's definitely giving normal villager. Let's find a small or medium baby to match Ganyu's medium model. I know Ganyu isn't a goat, but she has horns, and so does Chev the goat villager. I think that would be a good match. Chev looks kind of timid and shy, just like Ganyu. And Chev absolutely matches her cryovision. I think Zhao is a cranky villager. Although he is kind of quiet and reserved, I think he's never really in a good mood, so he's always cranky. It's kind of tough to choose one for him, but I think let's go with Rolf, because their eyes are giving that really serious demeanor. They both have that really piercing gaze. I think Hu Tao could be snooty or peppy, but I'm leaning more towards peppy because she's so energetic and playful. So let's go with peppy, and I'm going to choose Ruby, the peppy rabbit. Ruby's ghostly white fur definitely matches Hu Tao's ghost, and her red eyes make her look kind of gothic and a little undead. And of course, her red eyes match Hu Tao's perfectly. I could definitely picture the two of them getting along. Rosaria would be a sisterly villager because she's kind of gothic, tomboyish, and sarcastic. I could give her someone more gothic like Muffy the sheep, but I want to give her Renee the horse because they both got that serious side bang. They're also both tall. And I think Renee looks a little gothic / emo with her piercings, hairstyle, and eyeliner. She just needs a new dress. Yanfei would be a normal villager because she loves to read, study, and she's hardworking and smart. She's a half-illuminated beast and has scales and horns. There's no Animal Crossing villager that really fits that description, so let's just give her someone with, like, ears or horns. I think Fauna the normal deer would be perfect for Yanfei. They would be really cute together. I think Eula would be a snooty villager. Since Eula is the tallest female model, let's give her a tall, snooty villager. Let's go with Whitney the wolf, who absolutely looks like she'd be cryo. I think they're both mature and elegant. Kazuha is a gentle, calm, wandering samurai. None of the male Animal Crossing personalities really check off all the boxes of him being gentle and polite and calm, but since he's a samurai and a swordsman, I think I want to give Kazuha our first jock villager. Again, the personality doesn't really fit him to a T, but I think he's so skilled with a sword and he's trained for so long that he could be a jock. And honestly, someone has to be a jock already. I'm gonna give him a pretty special villager, Tulin, who hasn't even been released yet, depending on when you're watching this video. He's a brand new Zelda villager. Since he's a bird, I think he could definitely wield the power of Anemo by flapping his wings around. And his white fur matches Kazuha's white hair. Ayaka's the textbook definition of a normal villager. She's quiet, polite, elegant, loves tea, reading, checks off all the boxes. So we gotta find a small or medium baby that matches her cryovision. I think Mitzi would be a great match for her. They have a similar color scheme with white and blue, and she could be a cryo villager. Sayu is so lazy that she has to be a lazy villager, and who's better than the lazy panda Chester? Yoimiya out-peppies any peppy villager in Animal Crossing. That's just how peppy she is. Let's go with Shino for her, who looks like she'd blend right into Inazuma. She has some red elements that could be pyro. Koju Sarah is very strict and disciplined, so I think she could be a snooty villager. She's also just really mature. Since she has a bird as her summon, I think we should give her a bird. Let's go with a villager from a past Animal Crossing game, Animal Forest. Madame Rosa! Madame Rosa looks like she could also lead an army into battle. Kuki Shinobu's always hanging out with the boys. She's a sisterly villager, and I think she's pretty tough, so she would like to be a big, strong villager, like Renee, who also matches her purple Electro. Raiden Shogun is very stern and serious, but also has a gentle side to her. She meditates and rests a lot, so I think we can give her Luna, the NPC who takes you to dream addresses. She's very serious, but still so gentle and calming, and the space that Luna hangs out in the dream address world is kind of like the plane of Euthymia. Kokomi's is gonna be easy peasy. She's obviously a normal villager, she loves to read and be quiet, and she's introverted. And since she's like an underwater mermaid, we gotta give her Marina the octopus, who is also normal and pink, just like her. I think Toma could be a jock villager. He's friendly, energetic, and a member of the Kamisato clan. Toma loves dogs and cleaning, so let's give him Marcel. Marcel is French, so he's very clean. When you think jock villager, you think Arataki Ito. Finally, someone who's the perfect match for a jock personality. Alright, we gotta give Arataki Ito the beefiest, toughest man around because you know that's what he wants. I'm gonna give him the beefiest man, Biff, the hippo. Goro is a general, so I think let's give another jock villager out. And he's a dog, so let's find a jock dog for him. Let's go with Mac, who is kind of yellowy for his geovision. I think Shenhe would be a normal villager. She's kind of reserved and definitely not aggressive or too blunt. Since she's cryo, I think we should give her a penguin. So let's give her Aurora. You could argue that Yunjin is peppy because most peppy villagers sing, but I think she's really more of a snooty because of how elegant and proper she is. But some villagers have a singing/music hobby, so let's try to find a snooty villager with that hobby. How about Olivia? She's snooty, she sings. That's perfect. So the only fox in Animal Crossing is Red, who's an NPC, and him and Yaimiko's personalities really align. They're both manipulative, cunning, and sarcastic. I think lore-wise, Yaimiko is important enough to get an NPC, so let's give her Red. Ayato can be a smug villager because he's confident and smug with his sword fighting. Let's find him a tall or medium villager that's also blue to match his Hydro. Ken the chicken works for him. He's a ninja, so he's perfectly dressed for Inazuma, and Ken also looks like a sword user, like Ayato. He's blue for Hydro, so yeah, he's a water chicken. One might say he's a chicken of the sea. Okay, it's funny that Yelan is right after Ayato, because I also want to give her a ninja. Snake the jock rabbit definitely doesn't suit Yelan's personality, but he suits her lifestyle. Let's make Haizu a jock villager. He's kind of unpredictable and plays by his own rules. Of course, Haizu is the most powerful character in the game, and he's a bad boy. I'm gonna give him Genji the rabbit, because he definitely looks like he'd be walking around in Inazuma with him. His color scheme definitely looks like an animal character. Our first Sumeru character! Kale is obviously gonna be peppy. Kale has a high-pitched voice, she's full of joy, and she's so cheerful. So we gotta find a green, peppy villager that looks like they'd hang out in the jungle with her. Let's give her a chipmunk. Nibbles! She's green, which matches Kale's hair and dendrovision. And wouldn't she love having a little chipmunk around? Let's describe Tainari. He's loyal, he's intelligent, he's witty. What personality would that be? I'm not really sure if he fits any personality, so I'm gonna go ahead and give him a villager that I think suits him. Tad the Jock Villager is one of my top 3 villagers in Animal Crossing, and I think he'd be perfect for Tainari. I personally know that Tad is such a sweetheart and he's very smart, and different than the other Jock Villagers, okay? And Tad is perfect for the jungle because he's a frog. Dory is a greedy businesswoman who goes over the top to make some money. I think she could be a sisterly villager because she's very straightforward. And let's find a small villager because Dory is a small female model. And someone purple to match her Electro. I'm gonna give her Diva, who's already dressed in a Sumeru outfit. I'm gonna make a little exception for Candace, and I'm just gonna give her a villager straight away. Anka! I think Anka and her look very similar. They have really cool outfits. Actually, Anka's wearing the same outfit as Diva, so she's very Sumeru dressed again. And Anka looks like she could also be the guardian of our village. And all her blue matches Candace's Hydrovision. Sino is pretty serious, but he likes to make a lot of puns and dad jokes, so I'm gonna give him a cranky villager. I'm gonna give him Static, who's one of my forever villagers on my island. He's always cracking bad dad jokes like every other cranky villager, but I think Static is great for Sino because he's purple, so he's Electro. Nilu is very positive and cheerful, and she loves to dance, so she's a peppy villager. I think let's give her the iconic Rosie, who's blue, or maybe she's purple, but she's more blue to me, which matches Nilu's Hydrovision. I am so excited for this one. Nahida is such a cutie, and she's a little baby. Okay, so we have to give her a little baby NPC. A lot of people associate Nahida with radishes and vegetables, so the best NPC for Nahida is definitely Daisy May. She first appeared in Animal Crossing New Horizons, and shows up to your island every Sunday to sell you turnips. Her and Nahida should be about the same height, and Daisy May would be a great Dendro Archon. Layla is reserved, and she's always in the academia studying, so she's a normal villager, and I got the perfect match for her. Ione! She's a normal squirrel, and she has a really cool star design like Layla. Farazan's an old grandma, and she would definitely be snooty, so I want to choose someone who's elegant and older looking. I'm gonna choose Blanche for her, a snooty ostrich. I think they have similar color schemes. Blanche's fur is white, and her tail matches Farazan's hair. And yet again, she's another bird who could wield the power of Animo. She looks like she's highly respected, just like Farazan. Wanderer is definitely a cranky villager. He's self-centered, loves to start fights, and short-tempered. And he's just overall cranky. Let's find a medium villager because he is a medium male model. I think Kabuki is perfect for him. Kabuki looks like he belongs in Inazuma, and they could be cranky and storm off together. I think Alhaitham would be a cranky villager. He's very smart and intelligent, but he's a little hard to get along with, and gets kind of stubborn and just downright cranky sometimes. Especially when he has little drama fights with Kaveh. I'm gonna give Alhaitham a cool villager. Fang! Alhaitham has kind of gray hair, which matches Fang. And a little fun fact, Fang has the education hobby, so you can see him studying sometimes. So he's very smart, just like Alhaitham. Okay, you could argue that Yao Yao is maybe a better fit for Daisy May because Yao Yao is way more centered around turnips than Nahida, because Yao Yao literally throws turnips as her skill. But Nahida's an Archon, so Nahida gets the NPC. Let's give Yao Yao someone else. Yao Yao would definitely be a peppy villager. She's very cheerful and youthful, and she's always bouncing around. I thought about giving her a rabbit because she has Yuguai, which everyone says I'm saying wrong, by the way. Am I really saying it wrong? Yuguai, you're up! She says it just like that, okay? But anyway, I didn't find a perfect bunny for her. I'm actually gonna give her a retired villager, who first appeared in the OG Animal Crossing game. Huggy! She looks like Yao Yao. Her ears resemble Yao Yao's hairstyle, and they both have that cute little smile. Yao Yao's always hugging Yuguai too, so even the name suits her. Dia is an easy personality to place. She's obviously sisterly. She's tough and fierce. So I'm gonna give her a sisterly villager that's just as rowdy as she is. Cat! Cat may not be the biggest, tallest woman, but she's tough alright. Look at her face. You know she could beat people up. Mika could definitely pass as a lazy villager because he's so boyish and innocent. I feel like we have a lot of options for him if we choose someone blue or someone who looks like they be cryo, like a penguin. And even though he has a lot of options, I think I'm gonna give him a villager that is retired. Isle the bear cub looks a lot like Mika to me. He has blue elements and blonde hair. He's from Animal Crossing on the GameCube. He could definitely hold a cryovision, and he's a little bear cub, so he's ready for the cold weather and ice. Baiju definitely gives me smug vibes, especially in his English voice acting. That is what a smug villager should sound like. He's mysterious, and honestly, I think he likes some drama. Since he has glasses and he's very smart, I'm gonna give him Raymond. Raymond also has a nature hobby, and he reads a lot. And he's studying plants, just like Baiju is studying medicinal herbs and stuff like that. So I think they make a good match. Kabe's personality is a little hard to place in the Animal Crossing world because he's very smart, he's an architect, and he's a deep thinker. Maybe I'll give him a smug villager because Kabe's smug in which he thinks he's really good at architecture and he's really smart and all of that. Let's give him Quilson, who also has blonde hair just like Kabe. And he's green to match Kabe's dendro. I feel like Kabe and Quilson both have white shirts and scarves too. Carrara is peppy. She's girly, youthful, and full of energy. Since Carrara's a cat, obviously we need to give her a peppy cat villager. There's a few options, but I think Mary's the best cat for Carrara. They're both super duper cute, and Mary even has little bangs to match with Carrara's. Alright, that's every character up to 4.0. Look out for part 2, where I'll discuss the rest of the characters. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch and watch my live streams. Subscribe, check out all my socials in the description box, including our Discord where you can make some Genshin and Animal Crossing friends. And let me know in the comments if you agreed or disagreed with some of my choices. Thanks so much for watching, see you soon for another video. Thanks, bye!